Just to let people know. Rambam. We are learning in Maimonides the laws of acquisitions and gifts. Beginning, new section, chapter 1. Let's get right into it. Okay, chapter 1, the laws of acquisitions and gifts. The purpose of these laws is to determine how a person acquires an ownerless article and the process that he employs. Processes. They also explain the rules of governing one who gives a gift and one who receives, and which gift is retracted and which is not. All these laws are explained in the chapters that follow. So let's go. Whoever takes hold of an ownerless property acquires it. Right? Of course, we need to know what's ownerless. Right? We're defining that. An object found naturally in deserts, rivers, and streams, grass trees, for example, grass trees, wild fruit, and the like, are ownerless. Whoever first takes hold of such an object acquires it. When a person catches fish in a sea or in a river, and similarly, when he catches fowl or various wild beasts, since they are ownerless, he acquires them. Right? Not talking about a cow or sheep, because those are not wild, right? They're not called wild beasts. He may not, however, hunt in a field belonging to a colleague. Nevertheless, if he snares an animal there, he acquires it. How come? We're not talking about a cow, because a cow, he wouldn't acquire it, because a cow in someone's property, right, is not a wild animal. But if a deer came into my property and someone else came and caught it, that deer didn't belong to me. It was on my property. So just because it was on my property, so it's not right for a person to go hunt that deer, right, to capture it. It's not right that he did it, but if he did it, he acquires it because the deer is a wild beast and came onto the property in a manner that, it was ownerless. So it's not appropriate to go hunt, right? By the way, hunting doesn't mean with a gun. Back in the day, they didn't have guns, right? Hunting means that you capture it. That's what it means, right? If he snares the animal, right? If fish or wild beasts or fowl are in vivariums, what's a vivarium? Anybody know? I'll put it up. You can put it in into chat GPT. Found it? Belonging to another person. They belong to the owner of the vivarium.
It's like a planetarium
Like a planetarium?
where you raise plants.
Oh, so it's not the great outdoors. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. It's not the great outdoors. The great outdoors in your field, right? It's an enclosure. Because it's an enclosure, and let's say the deer got in there, right? Let's say the deer got into your enclosure. It's in your enclosure. That's different. Then it belongs to the owner. So a person who snares an animal there is considered a robber. This applies even if the vivarium is large and the effort to is required to snare the animal. Still, you're considered a robber. However, when a person takes a fish from the net of a colleague at sea or takes a piece from the snare of a colleague set in the desert, right? Those are ownerless properties. This is prohibited by virtue of rabbinic decree. In other words, uh, biblical law, if I put in the desert a trap and I trap an animal, it's not considered mine. Biblical law. Because why is it mine? Just because it's in my trap. It's an ownerless animal in an ownerless place. The desert is ownerless. Rabbinic law came and said no. It's acquired by the person who put the trap there. Okay? Is that clear?
Here.
Okay. If the snare could be considered to be a container, and the person took the fish or the animal from the container, it's considered to be a robber. Wow. This ties in mystically with what we just learned in Tanya, right? Why? What's a container? Holds something, right? So things are a container holding something. That's everything, right? Body and soul. The container that holds the coffee, right? The cup that holds the coffee. So if it's considered to be a container and it's holding it, so it is part and parcel of it. It's being contained, right? So mystically, we understand the idea. We just learned this in Tanya, because the whole point is that a container should contain, right? The keli, the container, the vessel contains the light. So here, the snare, if it's considered a container, it's containing, and the container is acquiring what its content, right? The vessel is acquiring the content that's in there. Wow. How's that fit in so perfectly? We just learned, Tanya. And the person who took the fish, so then the person would be considered a robber for taking it, because his vessel now is acquiring it because it's a container. If you remember, in the laws of impurity, remember we learned laws of impurity? If something was in a container, it can become it can become impure. Why? Because it has because something that is got a function to it that can contain, because everything is a body and soul, everything's a light in a vessel. So it becomes something that has the potential of containment, that it has functionality, it has purpose. That's something that can be used for good or the opposite, right? And therefore it can become impure. But if it was a flat piece of something that was not a container, it wouldn't be able to become impure because it's not functional. It's not something that holds something, right? Body and soul, light and vessel. Wow. When a person spreads out a snare in a field belonging to a calling and traps a beast or a fowl, he acquires it, even though he does not have permission to do this. Right, we learned that previously, right? If the owner of the field was standing in the field at the time the animal was trapped and he said, my field acquires this on my behalf, the owner of the field acquires it and the owner of the snare does not acquire anything. Why? Because remember, it's his field. A field is open. When it was a vivarium, so it was an aquarium, it was a closed place. So then that closed place acquires for you because it's a vessel. But the field, that's not a vessel. You need your awareness and your statement to be made that what? My field is taking possession of this animal. Got it? How fascinating is that? Fascinating. When a fish jump into a boat, they become acquired by the owner of the boat. For the boat is considered to be a protected courtyard. It's a container. Right? Even though if he saw the fish come in and he said, "Oh, that's my fish," then obviously it's his fish, right? But he doesn't even have to say that. Why? Because the boat is a container that makes it an acquisition for him. Wow. It is not considered to be a moving courtyard because the boat does not move on its own. It is water that moves it. When something moves on its own, it's a question of being a container or not. Right. Wow. Fascinating. But a boat is not considered. Okay. We'll stop here. Thank you, everybody.
So let's say, for instance, someone has a carriage or a moving vehicle and something
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos, Malcolm.
own that item or any other.
So your car is driving. So the car would be a container that would acquire it for you. Because it's like the boat.
But it says here, it is not considered to be a moving courtyard because the boat doesn't move on its own, but the car doesn't move on its own.
Right. So it's the same as the boat. Right. So it's the same as the boat. Exactly.
Anything that jumps into your
Car.
oh, it is, yeah.
Right. Then it would be, yeah. Yeah, it contains it. All right. Thank you, folks. Amazing.